thanks very much. Thanks for having me. And it's great to be here speaking at Cambridge Business Week, which was one of the sound working? Yeah. It was one of the premier events in the business calendar, both locally and increasingly nationally. I'm pleased that I missed the hustings, but I'll have some plenty of my own to do, my own constituency. But I hope you had a good debate there, and also good luck to those of you who are up for awards during the course of this week as well. My theme today is success, which I'm sure is a theme close to your hearts too. Close to my heart, freedom is very much at the heart of liberalism, but as well as freedom of speech, of expression, of movement. We believe also in the freedom to innovate, to reap the rewards of entrepreneurship, to succeed. So today I want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing in government to help business continue to succeed and drive our economic recovery. And I want to talk too about how we can empower our cities and our regions to put in place the policies that can best help those regions succeed. Now, I think this is a good place to be doing it, because by any standards, Cambridge is a successful city. This department in this university, I was just having a look outside of the Hall of Fame of all the businesses that have come out of this place. It's a truly extraordinary record, and it reflects the fact that here all the factors come together in a sort of perfect storm to make Cambridge one of the best places to live and to work and set up a business in the UK. At least that's what Julian Huppert is constantly telling me. So what are the factors? What is it that makes a city successful? Of course, geography, industry, civic pride, education, innovation, embracing new technology, the cluster effect, where one success in one sector breeds success in another. Support from the centre, but I think balance with the responsibility to run your own affairs too. Well, I think it was 66 years ago that here in Cambridge, the writer and scientist C.P. Snow identified the establishment's disdain towards science and technology as a risk for the UK's long-term prosperity. The world back then steered its brightest and best away from laboratories and into humanities. By contrast, economies such as the US and Germany were more open-minded and consequently more fit for the technological era. The UK risked falling behind. But looking at Cambridge today, I'm glad to say that we're proving Lord Snow wrong. You have embraced technology, you're carrying out world-leading scientific innovation. Silicon Fen is taking advantage of all that Cambridge has to offer, and it's become the envy of the continent. And even as someone who studied at Oxford, that doesn't get me thrown out, I have to say that you do have an absolutely brilliant university here. The challenge is, how do we replicate your success across the UK? I suggest two things. First, as a government, to be resolutely pro-business, and second, to set our cities and regions free. Now, the economic recovery that we've seen over the past 5 years has been the healthiest sort of recovery, because it's fueled by businesses, by entrepreneurship, by private sector job creation. I firmly believe it's not government that creates jobs, it's businesses like yours that do that. But our job is to put in place the right environment to help you thrive, and to help you do that. And over the last 5 years, Britain has, amongst other things, become a business-creating powerhouse. There was a record number of 5.2 million private sector businesses in 2014, over 750,000 more than there were at the start of 2010. The UK is recognised as the most entrepreneurial economy in Europe. We've created over 2 million private sector jobs and 2.1 million apprenticeships in this parliament. The British Business Bank has loaned and invested £3 billion since it was set up. The Green Investment Bank, which we've established, has got £3.8 billion of government capital at its disposal to support innovation and developments in green technologies. UK trade and investment have doubled the number of companies they help. We remain number one in Europe for foreign direct investment. We're creating a tax system which is both internationally competitive and more difficult to abuse than ever before. We've made significant investments in research and development with a £5.9 billion package of science capital investments over the next 6 years. And here in Cambridge, that's recently helped projects such as the Maxwell Centre, which will be a centrepiece for industrial partnership in the physical sciences, and the Cambridge Institute of Therapeutic Immunology and Infectious Disease. So this has been a pro-growth, pro-business approach, and as a Liberal Democrat member of the coalition government, we've absolutely been at the heart of that, because you can only have a fairer society on the back of a stable, strong, and healthy and sustainable economy. But over the next 5 years, our task will be to introduce more policies to boost fair and sustainable growth, and to give the UK a business environment fit for the 21st century. Now, Business rates tax is a classic area where we have simply not kept up with the times. They've existed in some form or other since 1601. With 1.8 million properties in England now paying them, you might agree that they're now due for a review. Now, we've already done a lot. In April 2014, our £2.7 billion package of business rate support, the largest in 20 years, came into effect, and we've made a further £1 billion support to build on this, available from next month. We've doubled small business rate relief, having over 500,000 of the smallest businesses, and we've increased the retail discount from £1,000 to £1,500 to support shops, pubs and cafes on our high streets. Now, of course, those numbers and those policies are making a difference, but I think we can go further. And I've been listening to businesses, to business audiences, pretty much it's come up at every chamber of commerce that I go and speak to, that business rates need to be looked at again to make them fit for purpose for the 21st century. They should be responsive to the property market. They should take into account the size and nature of their business, not just the value of their property. That small retailers these days face increasing competition from online as well as from competitors on the high street. That the system ignores the vicissitudes of the economic cycle, and that they should not penalise businesses who invest in their property. So today I'm announcing that we're launching a wide-ranging, full, comprehensive review of business rates. To report back by budget in 2016. It will be the most wide-ranging review of business rates in a generation. I wanted to consider all the alternatives and assess a full range of options. So we will look at the different ways in which businesses use property now and in the future. We'll examine alternatives for raising money through a local tax, and we'll look at what other countries do and what we can learn from them. Now, a lot of people think that business rates should remain a property tax, that that's stable, efficient, and because it raises money in a way that is less distortionary than other taxes. But we will look at any serious alternative that is put forward. Now, in line with our priority to reduce the deficit, the review also needs to be fiscally neutral and aligned with our wider fiscal plans. But that certainly does not rule out wide-ranging reform, and so we'll be seeking ideas from the widest possible context. So my challenge to you is, please engage with the review, let us know how you think that system can be improved, and let's work together to get in place a system which will be good for business and good for the public finances, and good for our cities and regions too. In fact, right now, you can go to the government's website and formally submit your views, though certainly feel free to stay to listen to the rest of my speech before you do that. And one of the areas that I am most interested in is how we can incentivize local authorities to put in place the pro-growth policies which work best for them. Because I believe, as a rule of thumb, that there should be much greater local control of business rates revenues as well. In April 2 years ago, we introduced the Business Rates Retention Scheme, which allows the local government sector to retain 50% of all business rates and therefore 50% of any growth. That increased the incentive to go for growth and to encourage enterprise. But because of the way the system works in higher growth areas, features of the system mean that the actual retention is significantly below 50%. So I think we should now be willing to take this up a gear. One way of doing this would be to allow local authorities to retain 100% of any additional growth in business rates above existing forecasts. On this model, all additional income retained by local authorities would be free to be invested in new growth-enhancing projects, infrastructure projects, and so on. We want to pilot this new approach, and I'm delighted to say that Cambridge is one of the leading contenders to pilot this new treatment. And I hope very much that we'll be able to make progress in this direction before the election. And if those pilot schemes are a success, then I think that will be a decisive step towards greater freedom for our cities and for our regions. Because central government cannot and should not do everything. It's at the heart of liberalism as a philosophy as well as of my own beliefs that the centre should devolve power as much as possible and that decisions should be made as closely as possible to the people they affect. Do locally what can best be done locally, regionally what you can best do regionally, nationally, and indeed at the European level, things that require international cooperation. Now look at Cambridge. You opened yourself up to business, and businesses flocked here, businesses were founded here. It's a perfect example of a region that capitalizes on its natural advantages. Central planning could never have done that as efficiently and effectively. And championed, I think very often by Liberal Democrat ministers in the government, we've got a strong record on decentralisation, putting more control in the hands of those who know best locally. Provide established local enterprise partnerships, created the Regional Growth Fund, worked with cities, including with Cambridge, to negotiate bespoke city deals, and agreed local growth deals backed up at least £12 billion of central government money with every local enterprise partnership. These programmes are mobilising billions of pounds of investment, and every single area of England, whether urban or rural, is receiving extra powers from Whitehall to deploy as they see fit. And this will need to continue over the coming years. Our aim should be a new relationship between Whitehall, between Westminster, and our cities and regions and localities. One where, yes, central government continues to provide funding and support, but one where cities and regions and localities have much greater freedom. And it should be a relationship which is not afraid to push the boundaries and seek the next level of evolution. Look at the Greater Cambridge City deal as an example. The deal, which was signed in June of last year, is already helping this area to maintain and grow its status as a prosperous part of our economy. It will create a fund for infrastructure investment, speed up the development of over 33,000 planned homes, create 45,000 new jobs, and 400 new apprenticeships for young people, and provide £1 billion of local and national public sector investment. Now that is great news. But how can we take it to the next level? Well, I would like to explore if we can go further and turn this into a devolution deal for Greater Cambridge too. So here's my challenge to you. Let us know which powers you would want, and that formal proposal will be considered in the next Parliament. And where Cambridge leads, I'm sure that other cities, perhaps even Oxford, will follow. We're keen to see too more devolved city deals. I'm personally prepared to go as far as freedom on revenues from taxation, whether that's business rates, which I've already discussed, or even stamp duty, something that we should consider as well. Because that is how we can achieve a new and more mature relationship between central government and places like this. And that's how indeed you can free up cities and regions to grow and flourish. So for example, I'm very aware that here in Cambridge, you're keen to do more to promote inward investment. And to this end, UK Trade and Investment is engaged in discussions with the Cambridge Network, the Local Enterprise Partnership and others on the best way to promote Cambridge and the wider area as an international destination of choice. One particular area worth discussing is about how you can give investors a sort of red carpet treatment, like the concierge services you see offered in other cities, such as the other Cambridge in Massachusetts. Of course, that means deciding on priorities within existing funding, but we will provide the support and the advice to help you meet those ambitions. And when you grow, when you flourish, you'll need more housing too. As the recent review of the local authority role in housing supply, conducted by Natalie Elphick and Councillor Keith House, made clear, local councils are uniquely placed to ensure the housing needs of local residents are met through their role in planning for housing need, unlocking land and leveraging investment. But the House Elphick review also made a compelling case for greater support to councils so they can increase their capability and skills to leverage private finance for major housing projects. And I want to support councils in their role as so-called housing delivery enablers by ensuring that we share best practice and provide targeted support. Because central government is uniquely placed to be able to bring different partners together to achieve that. So today I'm also delighted to be able to confirm to you that we will provide exactly that. We'll be working with Keith House and Natalie Elphick and the Local Government Association and the business community to implement a Housing Finance Institute as recommended by their review. From now on, councils will know exactly who to turn to for the kind of specialist knowledge and expertise that can help them make a difference to housing supply in their area. Because as you receive and have greater powers, we'll match those powers with greater support from central government. Now this new devolved world that we are looking at and making steps towards is, I think it's a really exciting development. It gives greater freedom, greater opportunity, greater responsibility, and an opportunity therefore for all of us to share in the greater economic growth that I think results from those sorts of changes. And I would argue it gives you the best of both worlds. You have the greater freedom, opportunity, and responsibility, but within the structure of a prosperous and flourishing United Kingdom. Now, as a Liberal Democrat, I want to see that vision delivered. I want to see a United Kingdom which is pulling out all the stops to create growth and jobs, to deliver a United Kingdom where towns, cities and regions across the country have the freedom and responsibility to decide their own fates. We will use a stronger economy to deliver a fairer society. So if you want the recovery to continue, we believe that we need both a strong economy and a fair society. If create opportunity for everyone, if you believe in freedom and responsibility and rewarding success, then I believe you also need us to stay at the helm. Thank you very much.